what's going on, y'all? So this is episode 4. We got Chug over here.
Numero cuatro. What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? So how have you been since the last time we talked, man?
Hey, I am waking up, luckily, every day. So I've been better than others. You know what I mean? I always can complain, but I can't complain, man. How you been?
Been good, man. Just trying to work on finish that Florida video, which I'm just about there. Hopefully, I can get it up this Friday. Um, and just trying to stay busy, whether it's writing or whether it's doing a workout here at the house or um, playing music, whatever. It's just like a bunch of little things, and I just kind of have them and just use them around the house just to keep busy. I kind of have like wake up each morning and do like a little kind of routine. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But just keeping my mind busy. Try not to watch too much TV either. I usually wait
I'm trying
till
to stay away
nighttime.
from it. It's so hard. It's so
Yeah, I
hard.
know.
It's so much TV to watch.
I know. And mine's like a lot of like YouTube watching videos and stuff like that, or like the news or whatever through there. But either way, I mean, it's we do that first thing in the morning. Usually, I find out my days aren't as productive. You know what I mean? Like doing what I want to do. I kind of like watch one video and I'm like, oh man, just checking it out, whatever, and then that leads into something else. You just down the rabbit hole we go.
Yeah. The joys of YouTube. I get the same way when I'm
Right.
trying to learn on my new six string.
There you go. Hey,
Yeah.
also, for those of you that are just listening in, the music, we're going to send a shout out to Push That Audio. They let us use a lot of the music. Also at Il Spitwell. I'll put like a little subtitle on here. Um, they've been generous enough to allow us to use the music, and we've been using it and trying to, just kind of get the word out for them and do like, just uh, trying to just promote people like that are just trying to get their art out there, if you will.
Help
And
flood these streets. Do your
yep,
part to help flood these streets.
yep. So big thanks to them. I appreciate it, and hopefully the next couple episodes, the next coming up episodes, we'll have Will Spitwell with us, and he can kind of tell us a little bit more about his journey with that and what have you. But yeah, man, good things to come.
I
Um,
like it. It's good. It's good and catchy. It's some good riding music. That'll be something that I could listen to when I'm just out on one of my adventures.
There you go. Speaking of your ventures, I saw your story today. What was up with all the pills, dude?
Man, I can't make that up. That's why I felt like I had to record it. So
Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
to get on the bridge to go from the Kansas side to the Missouri side to cross the Missouri River, you have to go downtown, like First Street, Second Street, harder downtown, like where the jails are, the casinos. So there's all different types of walk of life that might be down there, and you might find different types of stuff down there. And I'm riding, I seen this backpack. I was like, why is there a backpack? That's weird. And I just seen like a whole bunch of little white specks. I was far away. I was like, those are drugs. I want to see what kind of I want to see what kind of drugs they are. And sure enough, man, it was probably about 20 or 30. I don't know what kind they were. I didn't want to get
Yeah.
too close because I didn't know if
Yeah.
like they had fell down. It was like a big huge drain. I didn't know if they had like fell down the drain or I don't know. They
Right.
put it there to see if somebody was gonna pick them up. I don't know what it was, but it was very different along my ride though.
It's almost like a trap, like when you like trying to catch a rabbit or something. You just put all these like little breadcrumbs or whatever trying to catch them. But no,
Yeah.
that's strange. I saw that. I just saw the story right before we started doing this, and I was like, "What the hell?" It's just like a random
I thought that
bag
was
with a
no. I
bunch of
thought that was
pills.
different. That was
Yeah,
video worthy. That was video
yeah,
worthy.
it was. Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad you didn't take any of those.
Nah, I'm straight. Shout out to the VA. That's the only pills that I be taking.
Yeah, but uh, so I got a bunch of different pads here. I'm gonna start with elbow pads, I guess. That's gonna be
Yeah.
like
Got it.
a quick and dirty review.
Uh
So
huh.
for some of you guys out there that are just starting mountain biking, um, it's not a question of if, it's a matter of when that you're gonna like crash or go down. Um, I mean, even if you're just like I've seen like real good riders go down too. I mean, it's very rare that they do, but it's all a matter of when. So if, especially if you're riding, I crashed a shit ton, hence the name. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we all have. But kept me out of the hospital a lot of times was wearing good pads. And when I first started out riding, I think I had like for my shin guards, because the first time I had my first shin, like when I first got a good set of pedals, like flat pedals, they have
Mm-hmm.
the pins. And I wasn't wearing riding shoes. I was wearing just my regular, like, I don't know, sneakers or whatever. And when
Mm-hmm.
I tried to go over something, like, I had a pedal strike right on my shin, like, and my calf, and it looked like a freaking panther scratched me. But
Oh.
from then on, like, I'm getting all these different scars. It wasn't necessarily, it was just like having to always heal up from them. It was a pain in the butt. But when I started investing in like pads, I kind of went like, I started going with like the G form pads, which are actually, these are elbow pads right now. But I started going with these. Maybe you can see what these are. Like, you know what I mean? They're comfortable. Can you see them?
Yeah. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see it.
they're comfortable. But I've noticed when I first went down hard, these things got ripped apart. So if you're gonna use for knee pads, I mean, unless you're just gonna be like just riding just to ride and you don't crash at all, then you could probably upgrade or downgrade to this, depending on how you want to see it. But
Mm-hmm. Does
the
it
next
really affect your mobility? Do you feel like real bulky when you be riding with it on?
With these, no. Like if you're gonna get these, I would recommend like these going underneath of your pants or your shorts or something, like, or your, if you're wearing a long sleeve, like underneath. Because if you crash
Uh-huh.
this, like, well, depending on how hard the crash is, these kind of just ripped off of me, just because of the nature of the material. But granted, I didn't have a second covering over it. It was just like this, so these just got like shredded. Especially down here in Texas, like there's a lot of stone and limestone and some jagged. I mean, it's inevitable. I mean, these you will get shredded off.
Mm.
But that's like for knee pads, and then I kind of went extreme with it. I got these guys.
Oh wow, that looks like riot gear.
Yeah, it's it's pretty much what it is. It's like riot gear. So the shin, right here and in your knee, and then
Uh-huh.
it's your leg kind of slides in here. These are Liat. I don't remember what these are, but they're Liat, and I've had them for a while. And these have held up. They kept me out of the hospital a lot, and I was able to like just rock these without any sleeves or any type of covering over it. But
Uh-huh.
these are for probably like more extreme downhill, like free ride stuff. But I just got it because of the nature of the stuff here in Texas and like how much I was crashing when I would wash out or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
these gave me a lot more confidence to try stuff, but you lose some mobility, not much, because you really don't notice it after you're riding for a while. But yeah, these guys. And then I was just like, maybe that's a little bit too much for me now. So I spent a little extra money and I got these POC. They're
What?
POC, POC.
Oh, well, you just slide them on and it's all one piece.
Yeah, they slide on. See, like, so it just kind of goes over your leg, like so, and then you got like the Velcro right here, and then
You
the
ever thought
Velcro
about
right.
being a leg model?
No, I don't have the
Oh,
legs to be a leg model, but I
okay.
guess I guess I could. I guess I could kick up my leg and put it on and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be kind of funny. That'd be the thumbnail. Me putting
Yeah.
my leg on.
Yeah. There you
That'd
go. Shouts out to anybody that thinks he has a future in being a leg model. Look at that. Look at him
be,
go.
yeah. Now with these chicken legs, they ain't fucking be no leg model. So Lotus is in here, my dog. So she's looking at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" So these are cool. I don't even know. Can you see that? So these are
Yeah.
cool, but not cool in the sense like in the summer. These are gonna like they have all these covering and they stay put and everything. But
Yeah.
the summer here is gonna these are gonna be hot as hell, and it's not really. I mean, I could deal with it. It's not really a big issue, but I ended up buying. So these are cool because it has this top one, and then this one you put over your cab, and you're able to tie it over like that. But I've crashed in these a few times, and the only bad thing is sometimes because of the rubber material that's in here to keep it from sliding around. When
Mm-hmm.
I when I my knees hit it like this, and then it pulled on my skin on the inside, so that shit hurt a little. But other than that, I mean, they've kind of kept me out of a lot of stuff, and it's going all the way like halfway to the shin. It's not as long as the other ones, these freaking rag gear ones. So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, so I ended up buying. I had actually bought these pads for my son, but he didn't. He's not riding, so I ended up trying these other pads out that I'm trying to take these damn.
You showing your balance
Uh,
off.
yeah, man. Freaking crane stance over here. But these Kali ones, I think Seth Bycax did like a review on these, and when I first got them, I was kind of like, man, I don't know if these are gonna hold up because it has the same type of material as a G form,
Yeah.
right? But if you, I don't know if you can see that. This is like a hard rubber. I've crashed in these like once, just like a small spill, and it went right into a jagged rock. This was like last week, and I didn't feel anything on my knee, so these are pretty badass. So I'll probably be using these in the summer. These are thinner, and if they're able to accomplish the same goal, you know what I mean, just from like when you fall off
Yeah.
and it's hard. And these are more comfortable, and they're cheaper than the POC ones. I think the POC ones were like $100.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so these are like $100, if not more. I'm not sure. And then these guys are like $60. But think about it, $60 or $70, or go to the ER like every single time. If I mean, depending on how bad it is. So it just
Yeah.
kind of keeps your stuff at the minimum, especially if you're trying to progress and trying to do things that I don't know. You know what I mean?
Things that could possibly get you hurt.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
But
mean, ain't nothing wrong with protective measures.
so there's been a couple. I've still been looking for like trying to look for like a good deal on a bike for you. Just trying to
Mm-hmm.
help you look, and I'm also helping my cousin right now. I'm just kind of keeping my eyes peeled. Um,
Uh-huh.
so, but in the meantime, what bike were you riding? Was that a different one I saw you on your story, or was that the same one?
No, that's the same one. That's my OG. That's my baby. It's a giant, just a regular hybrid.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's um, but so I've been getting a lot more people just kind of asking about like mountain biking and stuff, and I guess it's perhaps because of everything that's going on. People indoors are like looking to do more things outdoors, which is good. Um,
Absolutely.
how
There's a
about how
lot of
about
trails. There's a lot of trails, like more than people really realize. Like a lot of mountain biking trails, just in a lot of neighborhoods. Like
right? Yeah. You talking about in your area or just in general?
just in general, I'm finding them more here. But like when I lived in DC, I found them all the time. Or when I just used to throw my truck in the back of the or my bike in the back of the truck when I used to go on road trips, I would just find them real easy, just easy little trails.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm definitely. I don't know. It's like I talked about before on here. I just like the idea of how you're just able to experience your where you live in a different way. Not like a car where everything's kind of just going by fast and you're zoning out, listening to music, whatever, podcast, whatever. And then, but when you're riding a bike, you kind of just, oh man, I never noticed that before. I never noticed that before.
Yeah, prime example. If I was just driving by, I wouldn't have seen all those pills just sitting out there. I would have seen the
Like,
book bag, but I wouldn't have
yeah,
seen all those pills. Look at
that's
that.
true.
So
That's true.
yeah, but I definitely, man, I enjoy it as much as I can. I felt like I could squeeze one in before it started raining. Got
Yeah.
it in. Legs feel good. 12 miles later, it wasn't that far of a ride, but
Better squeeze it one in and squeeze one out. I always
You know what
say.
I'm saying? I'm gonna squeeze one out later. Squeeze one out and pinch one off.
There you go, combo.
Yeah, combo move, man. So what are some of the places or normal fun things that we used to do as groups that you think that are going to be non-existent like ever again?
As far as like group riding, you mean? Like in the
Yeah, like
like
group
mountain biking
group
stuff? Oh,
riding. Yeah, like
oh, okay.
yeah, like
Are you talking about like? Oh, that's kind of going with to what we were talking about earlier. As far as like group things, like with in and around, like, so we'll talk about like, how it's like probably impact like movie theaters and stuff like that, and then we'll take it down to mountain biking. You know what I mean?
yeah, because I was as far as like competitions for mountain biking, they're going to be like non-existent now. Like to compete.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've been seeing. I wonder if they're gonna take a page out of the book from like other entertainment, uh, you know, corporations out there like WWE. I was watching. It was strange. It was strange because I used to watch wrestling a while back, and yeah, I didn't know you were gonna get some wrestling talk on here, did you?
Yeah.
So I got it really into wrestling. Obviously, as a kid, I would watch it like going way back or whatever. But the crowd is always a big part of wrestling, right? It's just like they're playing the crowd, it's back and forth. You know what I mean? And WrestleMania was during the lockdown or quarantine or whatever you want to call it. And I was watching it with my brother-in-law, and it's been a while since I watched it. I was like, I want to get back into it. I like the storyline. It's fun. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
whatever. But they were doing WrestleMania with no crowd, and that was pretty trippy to watch. It was,
Really?
yeah. I mean, they did a really good job. So like the people would come out and do their, it's kind of like their storylines, like you tell them Mean Gene or whatever. It's kind of like that whole storyline or whatever.
Oh wow.
You know
That
what I mean?
so they were still wrestling, being really, really close with each other, but no audience. Was the referee
Yeah,
still
yeah,
there?
yeah. The referee was there. It was like the people that were fighting were still there, like participating, fighting with each other. There wasn't like any. You can't do like social distancing with that. I would assume that they were like testing all the wrestlers or whatever, but I'm not sure. I didn't ask that question. I was just watching it, and
I'm feeling
no, yeah, but they were going at it,
yeah.
dude. And but after a while, like they did like such a good work with the camera work. Like usually with like you watch wrestling, they get them on the floor and they're like doing whatever, and this camera angles keep switching, so you can't really like, you know what I mean? It keeps it exciting and everything, as opposed to just
Yeah.
one camera, just like the whole time. Just seeing them move around the ring. But they did a really good job with that and like the music and stuff like that. But it was still entertaining to watch. But my point is that when I first started watching, I was like, this is gonna be interesting, but not really thinking about it. But I could see if I went in with the idea that like, because some people have the idea like I need the crowd in it so I can be excited about it or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Like
it wasn't.
they have Google glasses, I believe, that you can pay for the games. At least I've seen them for the NBA. And it's like you're sitting would be like the 50-yard line and you're watching them through glasses and it's like live.
Wow, that's
I've I've seen that before, but that was before everything got shut down. But yeah, you can sit there
yeah.
like courtside at the game with the glasses, and it's just like you right there watching it.
Wow. So like that's crazy. I mean, it makes. I think before it made sense as a novelty, but I guess it makes sense in this like if this is going to be the new norm from here on out, and if you know what I mean. Like I remember like a while back when SARS and all that was in China and it never made its way really over here, but
Hmm.
they were wearing masks, and then that became the norm over there. Like anytime I went to anywhere in Asia, everyone had masks, even if it wasn't an outbreak or not. People were wearing masks, and at first I was like, that's strange. Then it was like, I understand it. And then it was like, I understand it, but you know what I mean? I don't have the experience to go with it, so I don't understand it. You know what I mean? I understand it to a
Yeah.
point. And then fast forward to like today, and then if that's going to be the new norm, that like I hear people say that, but I don't know if people have actually accepted the idea that that is going to be the new norm. You know, we will like 10,
It
15 years from now, we'll still have masks. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, and like here, it's if you don't have a mask on, it's you looked at like, man, what are you doing? As opposed
Right.
to, I would say about a month ago, if you were walking around with a mask on, it's like, man, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, here in
Yeah.
the inner city, but now but it's still like when I was riding down in the inner city, like downtown, it would be like three people have a mask on, two people don't. Four people don't have a mask on, one person does. It's like I don't understand. Like I don't.
Right. Yeah, and it's the same for the same reason that like people are protesting right now because I mean for everyone's individual reason, and that's kind of what makes this country what like one of the things we love about it is the freedom of speech and but at the same time, if you choose to ignore the facts, if you will, and like I understand, okay, so I understand like the reason to going back to work, for the economy, but and it's easy for me to say in some sense, and I can understand. But some of the reasons that I hear from some of the people that I've seen is not a valid reason. Like one guy was like, I can't even buy soil for my plants. I can't even buy fertilizer or whatever. And I was like, how is it? Okay, maybe if that's part of his reasoning.
Livelihood.
Yeah, yeah, but he said for my garden. That's what he said for my garden. He didn't say his farm, but he said my garden. And with that, I was like, well, that's not a valid because Home Depot is still open. Lowe's is still
Absolutely, it is.
open.
Yes,
Unless he lives like in a very remote town somewhere, which could be the case. But and then there was another lady, actually a few ladies, talking about because they like this is like whatever word they use to describe what's going on, and then they're like, look at my hair, I can't get highlights, whatever, this is like basic like what I heard her saying was that is a very important priority in her life where she's hearing information, understand like as the way she understands it or not understands it, and still making the decision like, hey, it's like a warning label, like you know what I mean? Like
but it's
I
not
could be paying
paying
for this in my
attention to
life,
it.
right?
Yeah, they just
And
instead of taking the time out to figure out, well, this is what it is. Let me figure out how to do this myself. Let me figure out how to do my highlights myself. Do my own hair instead of just relying
right,
on somebody else. Like I don't have no pity for people that think like that. It's like I'm so dependent on other people for stuff. Now this is why I want to complain, and your complaint's not valid, especially when you can
right,
figure it out yourself.
right. I mean, yeah, and I agree. I mean, it's kind of like at some point you have to understand like I feel like water is a necessity. Shelter is a necessity. To an extent. I mean, depending on the circumstances, but like food is a necessity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like common, like I haven't got a haircut in a while, dude. This is the longest my hair has ever been. Like,
man, it
like,
looks good.
yeah,
This is we got we over here clean, fresh
yeah.
cut,
I'm
self
a fuck.
maintained. I've been always cut my hair for the past 15 years.
Yeah, man. Like, and I've cut my own hair before. It's been a minute, but that's not the reason. Like, my reason is like it's not that important to me to cut my hair right now. You know what I'm saying? With everything going on, it's not that serious for
Yeah,
me. And I'm actually kind of like, it's an opportunity to try something different. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I've
Get a
been mess.
Floby. Get a
Yeah,
Floby.
dude, you say that we've joked about that before, and no shit. One of the guys we ride with, he was saying like, "Yeah, I have a Floby." Yeah, he's an older guy, but yeah, he still rocks one, man. I was like, "Dude, that's badass." The
Yeah,
Floby.
efficient. They were efficient.
Yeah. So damn, like things like that are like starting to come back in style, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um.
self care.
Yeah. So another thing, I was like, you know what? When all this happened or whatever, and I heard about the toilet paper shortage, I was like, it's a good opportunity. I think I told you about like getting a bidet. I got one and
Yeah,
I installed it myself. Not to go too much into detail, but
it works
that thing's
great.
No, you don't. Yeah, you don't use nearly as much. What? Not even nearly. Like we use way less toilet paper than ever before. You know what I mean? By
Mhm.
comparison. But yeah, man. So it's just kind of like, well, it's a opportunity to change, try something different. You know what I mean? And I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely. Like some people can embrace it or just complain about it. I mean, there really ain't gonna be too much in between. It's like you're gonna embrace it, and go through this adversity the best that you can, or you can just complain about it and stay in the same place, complaining about what you can't fix anyway.
right, right.
At least that's
So
just my point of view.
like since we kind of attacked that from a big standpoint, I guess overall going down to riding as far as like the EWS events, like Enduro World Series events, I believe all that was supposed to be going on right now. But they've not only but a lot of entertainment, as we talked about, have canceled their events or postponed them as far out as they can. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, so as far as going forward, I think as far as like group rides and stuff, I think that's still gonna because I feel that if we're able to get identify how many people have the different antibodies that they need or they had it before or not have, they can come up with something, and that's I foresee this at least going on. I don't know, like till they get everything squared away with the vaccine and everything. I think it should, as far as riding goes, we'll go back to normal. I would think. I mean, it took me a long time to get there, but I was
This
really
time,
trying to compile the thoughts.
this time next year, you think maybe?
For yeah, I think. Well, I don't know. It all depends how long it takes us to get the tests and whatever. Like I feel that by the by this time next year, they should have hopefully a vaccine. And then, but I think by the time we get back to normalcy, if that's even like that's
That's
a
not a
new
thing.
normal.
That's the new
Well,
normal. You're right. The
like the
new normal.
closest to the way we were prior to this. And if there's no other like outbreaks or anything like that, would be at least 2 to 3 years that people start kind of like taking the masks off, and but it's also gonna I think it's gonna spawn up a whole new phobia now too. Different
Yeah.
phobias and different things. But anyways, one thing at a time.
One
But
thing at a time. One
like I know
potato on the peel.
some guys are riding together, but they're keeping the groups down, so they're staying within the limits of what the local governments have set forth. Like I think for us, it's keep it within groups of 10 or less. When you're riding, I think we were saying like at least 20 feet apart when you're
Hmm.
riding. But for the most part, like I haven't been riding with anybody. I've ridden the past couple of days. I ride with like Sandy, but when I say anybody, like any other people, but I come across them, I say what's up to them, from a distance or whatever. But
Hmm.
it's good to see them out and people still riding, and I'm glad they haven't taken that away because that I know a lot of veterans that ride, and that helps them in that way to get outside and kind of have that exercise and whatever. I'll speak for myself as well. Um, but yeah, man. So I think it's gonna be a minute. Um, just like any injury, this is kind of more
True.
mental. It's gonna take
Yeah.
a while to like heal and kind of people get readjusted back to. That's considering that there's no other like outbreaks or anything like now. You know what I mean? I don't want to use
Yeah.
the word
Because
outbreak.
that's. I mean, that's. I mean, it's ultimately what it is. What it is. It's going to be another wave. Let's just say another wave.
Right.
Because
And that's the
some
thing.
people.
Go ahead.
No, no. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's the thing too. Like, is that's the big concern because it's like the Spanish flu, the second wave, from what I read from a few different reports, is what killed the most people. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
Hmm.
I don't, believe me, I don't envy the people in charge to have to make the decisions because I understand both, not to like down in the weed level, but I understand like what this is doing to both the economy as well as um, you know, people's personal lives. You know what I mean? That's a tough call to try to come up with a way, a plan to kind of reopen, if you will, but do it with the right timing, with the right information, and because if there's a second one, you know what I mean, like the way it was, and I hope it's not,
It's
but
gonna
if
be
there
stronger.
is,
The strand's gonna be
yeah,
stronger. It's gonna be a little bit
yeah,
more
because it,
refined.
yeah, because I know they mutate and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to. I understand the realism of it, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, all right, I'm hoping that people that need to be doing what they need to be doing right now are doing what they should be doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Only time will tell. Maybe
Time will
3 years.
tell. Every day that we wake up, just embrace that gift and keep it
Yeah,
moving.
yeah. So another thing I wanted to talk about was the elbow pads. We'll do elbow pads, and then I think we'll take her home. Um, but so talking about elbow pads, and we're like talking about crashing earlier. This was actually an elbow pad. It's a an elbow pad. It was I just used it for a reference for a knee pad. The same thing we
Hmm.
talked about. You crash, but if you keep it underneath and you don't crash that much, then this is probably your thing. Um, if you're a new rider, I upgraded to these guys. These are Alpine stars, and these are pretty comfortable as well. Um, I've crashed on them a few times. They kept me out of some major serious injuries. The only bad thing is with these are the Alpine Star Ventos. You can see that. I'll try to put links on the bottom over here so you guys know what I'm talking about. But these Ventos, they breathe well. You can see the vents and stuff like that. But when you crash, when it's on you, you crash. I noticed, at least on the rocks here, that this, like when the rubber catches, it does this number. So you end up getting like all these scrapes and scabs right here. But it keeps you out of like hitting the other thing, the your elbow, which is you don't want to break that bad boy.
Can't replace that.
No, I mean I guess you could nowadays, but you know
Wouldn't be the
I don't want.
same.
It wouldn't be the same. So going back to the elbow pads, the ones I was wearing were Fox launches. Let me see if I can find a quick link on that. But Fox launches they're like a cross between, I don't know, this one and this one. This is my latest one that I have, but I'll get into that. But the Fox launches are it's like this, except the material is like a nylon. Um, but when I was wearing those, I freaking went off um, a drop when I was trying to do my first enduro, and I had those Fox launches on, and when I hit the gravel, they just slid down, and that's what no, actually they slid up. So when I hit the gravel like this, they slid up, and then I split this open. It was 33 stitches. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
so yeah, so depending what you're doing, what type of rider you are, where you're at knowledge wise, I mean, you know yourself. If you know you're like clumsy and you're gonna be falling a lot, then probably want to invest in some elbow pads or knee pads. Just save you a lot of time and keep you on the trail so you're able to progress without having to take a lot of time off. Um, the way I see it is kind of like if it's a pride thing, then it's probably bigger issues than that. You probably got bigger issues than that. You just feel, but because I just
Yeah.
feel that like you want to stay out of the if you just want to like stay out of the hospital and keep riding because it's something you love to do, then do it. You know what I mean? Um, and I know
Makes
these
sense.
aren't, yeah, but at the same time, these aren't cheap. So if you're a new rider, you probably spent like I don't know, maybe a grand or so on your new bike or whatever. And you probably don't have money left over. So if that's the case, there are other options. You don't have to go with these like fancier options. Like this is my latest one. This is an Alpine Star Vector Pro, and these are comfortable. They have two straps, one at the top and then one at the bottom, so it keeps it in place. And then has this like patty in there, like so when you hit something hard, this gets harder on impact, so it absorbs the blow, if you would. At least that's what they claim. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I wasn't there when it was in the making of it, But so
Mm-hmm.
far, I've crashed in these post elbow injury, and they've held up pretty well. Other than like it kind of hurts on the bottom, but it's just the scar tissue. But they've held up pretty well. They stay put, and so far I've had these for like 4 months, and I like them, man. They're like $80, but at the same time, I plan to probably have these for like 4 or 5 years if they hold up. So yeah, man, those are a few options. So again, depending on the type of rider you are, if you just think you're too cool for pads and you don't cut your arms on anything, or you just don't bleed at all, then hey. Or if you're just a badass rider, you know what I mean?
Or
Never
hey,
crash. Each
I'm
his
a
own.
firm believer. I'm a firm believer in proper PPE. That's all I got in gloves. So
Yeah, gloves is another one that is important because the first things when you crash, you're putting your hands down if you can. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And usually, I've had a lot of scars on my hands and stuff from just working and stuff, but I mean nothing like crazy. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
like crashing and stuff, you will get like more gnarlier scars and stuff like that. But so at least the gloves, they kind of depending on your grips if they're too like sweaty. I know a lot of downhill guys and jerk jump guys they don't wear gloves, and I think that makes sense to a certain point because gloves can be real grippy, so they kind of just like to let go and stuff like that. And we're not downhill guys, but um, and like guys that ride like bike park a lot. But I don't know.
You
I
you
could be
you
wrong.
walked over you walked over those phrases. I didn't know what they meant. You said
Oh,
dirt. What you said? Dirt diving.
dirt jumping. So that's pretty much if you picture a cross between a BMX bike and a mountain bike.
Mm-hmm.
It's a so dirt jumping is it's just picture like dirt jumping. It's pretty much it is. There's like
Or just
ramps or like
jumping ramps.
jumps. Yeah, and then it's kind of like art form. You go. It's just like if you ever see a video, you just see them popping up like that and just doing like random like tricks and stuff like that. I could look it
Mhm.
up right now, but oh, and then downhill stuff is just like people racing downhill and just going straight downhill, which would make more sense to wear gloves. But I mean, some people they've been riding their whole lives, so they're probably like, fucking
I'm too skilled for
yeah, too
gloves.
skilled. So I'm not that skilled. So to each his
I
own.
would ne- I would never be that skilled. I would never be too skilled to wear protective equipment.
You don't think so?
I don't know. Mm-mm.
Well, that's. I mean, like I said, I've seen a lot of people. I've seen people not even wear helmets. So I mean, I've seen, and you try to tell them, but it's kind of the same time. They take that risk on their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's not. I mean, depending. Have you ridden any trails yet? Like.
Yeah, I rode one around Wyandotte County Lake. It's a pretty popular lake here. And I started on the trail, and then once it got a little bit too bumpy, it was like a big tree stump in the middle
Oh,
of it.
okay.
I just turned around and went back on the street.
Yeah. And also,
Yeah.
I mean, you said you're riding a hybrid, right? Does it
Yeah.
have a
Yeah, I
does,
don't
does it
have
have a fork on the front or anything? Like
nothing.
suspension? Oh, okay. Yeah. That would be a little bit gnarlier of a ride. It would be like, because you would have no suspension, so you just be like, "Gah, gah," it's all rigid
Yeah,
and stuff.
that's all it is. That's all I got.
Yeah, man. All your feelings will come out. Not your feelings, your feelings.
My feelings, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if you crash, your feelings might come out too.
Yeah, my tank's getting all beat up.
Yeah. Hey, that gets stronger with time, as they
What
say.
your tank?
Yeah. With the bike riding.
Yeah, I've been working on my tank muscles, baby. That's gonna be my new pickup line.
Working on the tape muscles.
Yeah,
You pick it
working on
up.
my tank muscle.
You pick it up with a kettlebell.
No, I think that would be my sphincter muscles. Working on those.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and then I mean, you got the helmets. You already kind of talked about your helmets before too already, though. So
yeah, probably the next one I want to talk about like gloves. I was actually going through my all my stuff that I have, and I was like, man, we could kind of talk about all these different things. Hopefully, get a different way to present it. Maybe I'll set up like a little table here or something, so I can just show it. Because it's kind of
mhm.
weird, like doing this and you know, what I mean. But
Yeah,
if I
well, I
could
mean,
just
but
kind of get stand up.
you have some very nice kneecaps, so it's
Oh,
okay.
thanks, thanks. That
Yeah,
was my
yeah.
my nickname in high school. Kneecaps.
Okay. See, it stuck with you. It stuck with you.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, man. Definitely. Well, if you guys are listening, oh, not if you're listening, but if you're obviously you're listening, you're hearing what I'm saying right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, check out Will Ill Spit Well at Ill Spit Well on Instagram and Pushed Out Audio on YouTube. You can see some of their music if you like some of the music that you hear on this podcast or in this video. Check them out. Also, just just try to keep writing, stay sane, and try to keep busy, and try to keep a schedule. Call people that you care about. Do Zoom, Skype, something. And
Something.
yeah, what are you doing over there? Stay sane, like just for this next week or so. Do you have any plans?
Yeah. I'm gonna start to really take focus with my sixth string, my guitar, to start, putting out some more poems and stuff. I've been getting inspired by seeing different stuff, like just staying active. Like it's gonna be rainy here, so I can't go ride as much, but just lay
Yeah,
low,
man,
man. Stay out of
that's
the
good.
way, as they say.
Yeah, that's good, man. Practice a six string, work with a different part of your brain. But yeah, I need to play my ukulele more too. I haven't really done it this week, but I'll just try to implement like those little things here and there. The rest of however, tomorrow and the day, like the next 5 days, is gonna be really nice here. So I'll probably try
Okay.
to get a lot of writing in, at least through the week, and then I'm not sure about the weekend. But yeah, man. So hopefully I have some more videos and stuff like that coming up, or more stories to talk about. Hopefully you don't
All
find any
right.
more pills.
I know, right? Hopefully, I'll find streetwalkers. That's on the next episode. They out there too, so I just ain't found them yet.
And street walking goes bad.
Yep, but I'm masked up. I'm covered up. They can't see me. They just recognize my book bag. That's it. So we're good.
There you go. It wasn't the book bag with the pills, right?
No, it was not. It was not.
All right, man. We'll take it easy. Until next time, we'll see you guys. Stay tuned.
Stay safe out there.
Yeah, check. Who do you harm with that hot shit you shoot in your arm? Locked down in one block, the rest of the world moving along. The content is not new to a song, but quarterly I see no change. Must be doing it wrong. Brother probably thinking I forgot him. Mother haven't heard from me, wonder what's the problem. Wife get whatever I can afford, but what does my time cost? Body walk around, but my mind lost into a dark